Pierre-Francois, thank you so much for joining me at LSI Europe.
Thank you, Nick.
Tell me a little bit about HeartKinetics.
HeartKinetics is a Belgian-based company. We incorporated in 2019 as a spin-off of University of Brussels, and I'm co-founder and CEO of the company. So I'm also the inventor of the technology that's at the basis of the company. And this was done actually thanks to my PhD in space physiology. We received grants from space agencies, and with these grants, I invented a technology to accurately and extremely easily monitor the cardiac function of astronauts.
So tell me a little bit about the technology.
Yeah, technology is quite simple. It's based on the use of motion sensors that everyone has today in their pocket. Actually, the motion sensors that are used by smartphones to count your steps. And these motion sensors, when you place the smartphone on your chest during 1 minute, they can capture mechanical activity of the heart. And this is very important. It's completely different also from what a smartwatch can offer. We offer a measurement of mechanical function, which is important in the diagnostics and screening of heart failure. And then once you do a 1 minute recording, after that recording, the data is sent to the cloud, where our proprietary and let's say highly skilled artificial intelligence operates on your records and can deliver a score of you being at risk of heart failure.
So is this proof of concept, or do you guys actually have a working product?
We already have a working product that's ready to scale, that's now in clinical trials. And if you allow me, then I just show you a little bit how it works. It's extremely easy. So you just tap to do a record. The patient has to lay down. I won't do it for 1 minute, though.
That is amazing.
But at the end of that 1 minute,
there's a report?
There is computing on signals in the cloud, and magically then you receive as a pop-up the results of the analysis. And that would be used by the patients themselves, or by healthcare professionals like a nurse or a primary care professional. Extremely easy to use.
So is the product commercially available now? Has it received regulatory approval? Tell me a bit about it.
Unfortunately, not yet. We are in this process right now. So our aim is to finalize the clinical trials that are ongoing. We have a proof of concept on already a good number of patients, over 60 patients, which shows the capacity of the system to triage patients arriving at the emergency department and having signs of heart failure, which is difficult to diagnose, to screen for. And we are ready to scale this study to over 1,000 of patients. We need to do that in Europe, but as well in the US. So we are in contact with the FDA, and we validated our clinical trial validation plan with really top-notch international key opinion leaders.
Tell me a little bit about the unmet needs today in heart failure screening and diagnostics.
Yeah, heart failure is the endpoint of several cardiovascular disease. It's very difficult to diagnose. It takes time and money. There are several steps. You start with a blood draw and a blood analysis, and chest X-ray, electrocardiogram, and then eventually you get an echocardiography appointment with a cardiologist. We aim to speed up that process. If you do our digital test, within 2 minutes, you do the 3 first steps. We compare to the blood test, which is a standard of care, and we have higher accuracy than just this type of test.
So in this process, your test would come before a patient even receives a blood test, correct?
Yeah, even before the blood test. So there are several places in the world where you may not get access to fast blood draw test, chest X-ray. There are places also where it's too expensive for some of the patients. But simply, we may just speed up the emergency department process. So that's one key aspect of our technology. But then the second really important part is when a patient gets discharged from the hospital. It's very often, and it's up to 50% of the patients that are coming back to the hospital. And we try to prevent these early rehospitalization. And for this, they need an effective remote patient monitoring solution. And today, the standard of care are you do a blood pressure measurements, you do a weighing scale, or you may use your smartwatch. But all of this is really poorly specific to heart failure. While our technology with these chest vibration measurements gives measurements that are very close to echocardiography, the standard that the cardiologists are used to use.
So what's the market opportunity look like for a technology like yours?
It's big. All over the world, you have 60 million patients suffering from heart failure. In the US, it's 6 million patients and 1 million new patients every year. On top of that, you have also people suffering from cancer who are treated in chemotherapy. And these patients are also at risk of developing heart failure. That's a lot of patients that may receive such a nice tool for screening of heart failure. And if we compare to the pricing in the field, then it's a 2.5 billion market opportunity.
Wow. So what does the future look like for your technology? You're on heart failure right now. Where can you take it?
Yeah, as I said, we are focused on heart failure, but there are a bunch of patients out there at risk, like chemotherapy, patients on chemotherapy for the treatment of cancer. You have also hypertension patients. They are at risk of developing heart failure, diabetes patients, chronic kidney disease patients. That's a huge amount of patients at risk. In the US, it's over 100 million of patients, and it's a growing problem.
So tell me a little bit about the sort of target market for this technology. Where are you looking to launch first?
Yeah, of course, the technology is very well suited for large countries where access to a healthcare center is difficult or is far away from the people in need of it. Of course, the US is really the place to go because it's a huge and uniform market, at least from European point of view. This is how we see it. Because in Europe, once you get CE mark, then you need to apply in each and every one country. And we received also this summer very good traction when we made a commercial roadshow in the US and received extremely positive feedback from cardiologists in high hospitals. They say, this is the future, this is what we need, and we need it now, and we don't need to wait. So this is why we are just going to the US.
What brings you to LSI Europe?
We are here in LSI. Let's say, first of all, it's a pleasure to meet top international life science innovators. But also we are here for fundraising because we have now a very ambitious clinical trial plan that needs investors' money, and this is why we are here.
How much are you trying to raise right now?
We are raising between 10 and 15 million. That will be on equity, but also a component of non-dilutive based on grants, fundings, supports from European Union or regional fundings in Belgium.
Space technology. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, actually the project was born with the support of European Space Agency and a collaborator at NASA. to revive a technology that was known as ballistocardiography. So the measurements of the recoil of the body due to ejection of blood into the arteries. And so it started in 2019 as an international project where I was the principal investigator and in contact and still in contact with astronauts and at the European level with the head of the astronauts corps, Frank de Win, a Belgian astronaut. But we aim to provide this technology for the support of astronauts going into space. As a patient on Earth, these astronauts, they need also a very thorough scrutiny of their cardiac function. They are at risk of cardiac deconditioning. They need to have a cardiac rehabilitation program, which is really on operations very time-consuming. But having a small sensor, so we are developing also a connected sensor to the application that may be used to capture VO2 max, which is the cardiopulmonary performance parameter. And our technology, as it is so small, is also a good candidate to go around the moon or even maybe on the moon, which would be a lifetime achievement for me.
You may be the first innovator I've spoken to at this conference who has technology that's going beyond Earth.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, that's fascinating, and I think it was also my duty to give back to this space industry the support I received for research, scientific research, pure research, and then eventually coming to a product and then give back a solution for them and for the patients on Earth. This was really my ambition.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much, Pierre-Francois.
Thank you very much, Nick.